Alright, hello guys. Today we're here with the seminar skip video for the Apocrypha Epsilon as the second event unit of this Apocrypha chapter 7. And surprisingly, despite this animation, well, she's a DPS, pretty much a red elf DPS. So we gotta say, did her art pretty nice at least. Was gonna consider summoning, but nowadays that's an easy skip, sadly. To have our hand technique here, eternal melody, that rates damage inflicted of all allies, graphic streak damage on a single enemy, then grants a fighting spirit buffer, and then which it says each time skill to is activated, it's attack of all allies by 20% for 15 seconds. So pretty much, after you use this hand technique here, this skill gives you a 20% attack buffer as well. So instead of just being damage inflicted and speed only, it comes damage inflicted, speed, and attack. And of course for this skill 2 right here, an awakening to get double the buff. And with this awakening here is a free A1 you get from the event, so that's good I guess. 0% damage inflicted, 30% speed, and 20% attack. And that's pretty much about it. When awakening to get 10% more damage inflicted, and fighting, and then the fighting spirit buff procs on both skill 1 and skill 2. So pretty much you still get a 20% attack buff even when Epsilon uses this skill as well, instead of it only being on this one. Those skills here don't do too much, doesn't inflict 2 damage on enemy, lowers defense and inflicts slow. Which the slow is mostly for event chilling. So it will be good for this event and you probably won't see much use for it outside of this event. Just goes kind of whatever really. And then we have our special ability, which is kind of like the nail in the coffin for this Epsilon really. Sadly. Each time fighting spirit is granted by ally, raises damage inflicted for all element allies by 25%. Also raises hint technique damage limit by 10 total for 60 seconds. And varies attack and speed if alpha. So a lot of buffs. But you need to give a fighting spirit first. So we pretty much have to use this Epsilon's hint technique of course. Not only that, but you'd also need to use the swimsuit Etta's technique, where she grants fighting spirit and in a similar sense, Etta grants the buffs to herself. As you can see here, each time fighting spirit is granted on eye, Etta just buffs herself, but the Apocrypha Epsilon instead will buff all allies. And not only that, you'd also have to use this Victoria's ultimate hint technique here for the extra fighting spirit. So you can put all three of them like the same team, and then the buffs can pretty much stack up. Though the issue is that this Victoria, she doesn't have a fighting spirit on her. Well, in technique, as you can see here, she just works based off Hellfire, which is kind of interesting to see the mismatch. Like, don't get me wrong, Victoria will still give SP to this Epsilon, but Epsilon's more of like saying, like, she worked with the fighting spirit unit instead of the traditional red elf team that she should work with, which is what Victoria and these event rerun units are on. So I guess if you did get the red SP team to spam their hidden techniques, I guess it could pay off. Though only if the hidden technique gets spammed on like those two characters I mentioned before. Swimsuit Beta does technically give a fighting spirit on her SS plus gear. So yeah, you would also need this SS plus gear to proc, which when hint technique is activated grants fighting spirit count on self, and then varies attack and speed of all allies. So you'd also need this swimsuit Beta's hint technique to be spammed a lot as well. Which in the end, you do still need the red to do on the team, so realistically, I don't really see how this will work. Hence, when you consider all the DPSs that have the fighting spirit buffer, that's like Epsilon, swimsuit Eta, and swimsuit Beta, players do still need it. The tag character actually, so I guess you'd have to here take out Eta or Beta for one of them to have this Epsilon in it. Mostly just the fighting spirit synergy, and that's kind of what knocked her out, because she was just like a red normal DPS or so. Then I could see her being pretty good. But the fighting spirit synergy just kind of shut her down really, because most of the fighting spirit options are already made. And not only that, but unlike the swimsuit Etta, her hand technique is Awakening 5, which is yikes. Meanwhile, her special ability is A3, and the special ability really doesn't do anything much. Because I guess they realize, once the swimsuit Etta came out, and they did some SP teaming stuff, and with her A3, but then yeah, she was pretty much just breaking the game left and right whenever she used the skill. And now they're doing it A5, I guess, to try and prevent that. But then again, having it the opposite way, if Epsilon had her hidden technique via A3, then she would be pretty good, I guess. For the consistent 20% attack and other buffs you get. But for now, she's pretty much just a skip, really. Now I have her gear here, raises CRS and slow rest. So that's nice, I guess. But looks like for World 3, since I don't even think bosses in PvE use that for event bosses and armor bosses, nor do PvP. Since PvP is just so fast paced right now, there's no real time to inflict CR slow rest. That's for red element eyes only, either as well. Though what is interesting is the 7 multi ticket for the next event character, so this must mean that the next event after this Apocrypha chapter 12, after Apocrypha chapter 7 ends, and the next SF drops, the next event it seems you'll be able to use the 2 tickets here, which will be kind of interesting to see how that plays out, because it could just go deep for these guys because of waifu reasons, and then it ends up paying off next event. Those 7 multis is like around 18k gems, so it is still pretty expensive. Now, of course, when you are to reach Apocrypha chapter 7, you have the demon alpha coming out and so forth. This does pretty much make this episode pretty an easy skip outside of waifu reasons. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.